we know now in the States that 1 in 2 men and 1 in 3 women in their lifetime will receive a cancer diagnosis. And if we keep going on this pace, by 2030, there'll be approximately 2.3 million cancer cases in the United States. So the challenge is really quite formidable. And what we know is that today we are curing a large number of cancers, and that translates into a large number of survivors. So at this moment, as we stand here, there are 15 million Americans living with a cancer diagnosis, either still actively undergoing treatment or who are dealing with the side effects of therapy, which can be substantial. And what we learned from Dave and Espy is really the importance of doing something now instead of waiting for insurance companies or payers to understand that giving support, psychosocial support for cancer patients is really important. We knew how to deliver, and it was the case that Dave and Espy recognized this and helped us through their investment to launch the new center to expand this survivorship support, first with our head and neck cancer patients, and within 6 months' time to the rest of the cancer center.
And as a resident, the survival rate for cancer was 40%. Now it's 80%. Incredible progress. But where there's been no progress is around the psychosocial support. And when you tell a patient they have cancer, it's a devastating diagnosis. It's probably the worst thing that can happen to somebody, to think they have cancer or somebody they're close to has cancer. And how do you manage that? I'm really good at managing the physical needs. The emotional needs, right, Louise, not so much. Psychosocial, not at all. But what we have now at Jefferson through Espy and Dave's vision is that center, and that's real. And it's already happening. Like I said, a 3-month rollout, 6 months to rolling it across the enterprise. I know that Steve's made that commitment, Karen's made that commitment, but more importantly, though, Dave and Espy have, and you don't want to mess with them.
A number of you saw me a year ago, and I was 230 pounds. I was diabetic, type 2. A lot of people didn't know that. My cholesterol was through the roof, 290. My blood pressure was out of sight. And I felt like I was doing pretty well. I felt like I was pretty healthy. And a lot of people around me were like shocked that something happened. I'm now 175. And it is true, you can't tailor clothes down from a 48 to a 42. That doesn't work. I'm 175. My diabetes is gone. My type 2 diabetes is gone. My endo said, don't need to see you anymore. And the most important thing is July 11th, right, was my 1-year anniversary of the beginning of treatments. We have a lot of anniversaries we celebrate lately, but that was my 1-year anniversary. Dick Gozen was the very first call after Dave Yost. He said, you need to go to Jefferson. And Dick Gozen was on the phone with me 15 minutes later, and Dr. Keene was on the phone with me on my cell phone about a half hour later when I was in crisis. All I heard was I had cancer in my throat that had moved down into my lymph nodes. And I really wondered if my ticket had gotten punched. You know, they took out 23 lymph nodes, and they came back and said, it's only in one. You're going to make it. And we got your back. And we went to get a PET scan, and I'm just going to tell you this, it sounds a little technical, but it's just such an example of what you were talking about, Steve. We went to get a PET scan to find out the last piece of the puzzle, which was, had it moved to my lungs and my liver, because that's a whole different story. I went down to get the PET scan. 50 minutes after the PET scan, I got a phone call from Dr. Keene in my car on the way home saying, it hasn't moved past your lymph node. We got you. We got you. You're going to make it.
Here's what I will add to what Dave has so eloquently shared, that not only because of his great care with Jefferson, through Jefferson, and especially Dr. Keene and team, he recently shared that not only is he cancer-free, but the great care, he's added about 10 years to his life, which is unbelievable.
But here's what's different about Jefferson, and a good part of this is brought to you by David and SB New. What's different about Jefferson is we say, you know, you come in here, you're going to get every clinical research that's known to man or women. You're going to get great discovery, great education. But here's what's different. When we talk about our partners, and we have one of the most expanding cancer networks in the country. Why? Because we say instead of you have to come down to Philadelphia, we're going to bring that NCI Cancer Center mentality to wherever you are. So here's what I'm asking you to do, is to join us at Team News. Some of you come from all over. Some of you might not have even known Jefferson. But what is happening here with the News Center is really something that doesn't exist anyplace else. We think we can build something so that every single SB and Dave knew, no matter what their situation is in life, can basically say, you know what? I'm going to get through this.